What's up guys, Jay right here, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Crossout. Hope you guys are doing well. So let's say you're at home, you're bored, and you think, I'm gonna watch some YouTube to entertain yourself. And you watch some videos, but all you see is these boring YouTubers, and you're just not feeling it. But then you come across this awesome channel called JB Ryder, and he makes crossout videos and you like what you see. Time to charge.
Smoke weed every day.
You want to try the game for yourself, so you download it, start up the game, but then you see this little car in your garage. Where do you go from there? All these options, buttons, and tabs can be super overwhelming for a new player, but don't worry, I got you. Okay, let's jump straight into the first tip. That is the best tip for all new players. So right now, if you go to any of my videos description, you can go to the section free packs, and there you'll find some links to some free packs. These packs are 100% free and they will definitely benefit you as a new player. The one pack gives you access to 3 rare sledgehammer shotguns and a rare cooler to cool them down faster, and some other basic parts. The other pack gives you access to some high-level parts and decor items, which will give you an edge when building your first vehicle and playing against players who don't watch my videos. There's also a third pack, but it is in limited supply. You'll have to do some extra steps like following a Twitch channel, creating a Legion account, and some other puzzles, and then you'll get a code, and then once you have the code, you can redeem it on the Gaijin website. This pack also gives you access to some pretty solid high-level structural parts too, and some extra sledgehammer shotguns. This pack is really good for new players, but for veteran players, please don't get this pack since you already have all the structural parts that you receive from this pack, so it's pretty much worthless for you. And while you're there, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Once you have these packs, you can start making your first build just under 4,000 power score. The only thing I crafted was a radiator to make the shotguns more effective, and a fuel tank and a fuel barrel so I can start farming fuel so I can do some raids or maybe sell it later. Alright, tip number 2. Now it's time for me to give you some very important building tips that the game does a poor job of explaining. Now there are different structural parts that function very different from each other. First you have your frames. You got light frames and heavy frames. Then you have structural parts with special features which can be used for space armor or weapon mounting spots. Then you have your normal structural parts which add durability to your cabin. Then you have bumpers which don't add durability to your cabin's maximum HP, but it only adds durability to your vehicle's total HP, which you can see here. And the last type of part we have are melee parts, which can be used for ramming, deframing, or taking out other people's wheels. Now the question I get the most is, how do I defend myself against melee players at lower power scores using borers? Well, with these free packs, you'll survive longer already because you get access to those 4 special wheels, the array wheels, which have a ton of durability compared to the common starter wheels you start off with. Now with this in mind, here are some building tips to help make your ride survive a little bit longer in battle. The frame is the base of the armored vehicle. Its elements can be attached only to each other and to the cabin. At the same time, all the movement parts in the game can only be installed on the frame. Accordingly, if you lose that part of the frame which the movement part is attached to, you'll be immobilized. If your cabin is only mounted on one frame piece and you lose it, you'll become what as we call in the wasteland a chicken McNugget. Try to connect each frame to at least 2 other frame pieces. That way, if you lose one and the other one is still attached to the rest of the build, you'll still be fine. As for the movement parts, try to attach the movement parts on at least 2 frame pieces. I know it won't work out in some situations, but try to do that if you can. It will make your vehicle a lot more survivable. As for how to mount your weapons, the strongest place to mount your weapon, of course, is the cabin. The second place to mount your weapons that is really strong is the frame itself, because the frames have special features like I mentioned earlier. And the third best place to mount your weapons on is on the structural parts with special features like I mentioned earlier. Those have special features where damage can pass through, so it takes a little bit more time to destroy them compared to regular structural parts. Now as for protecting your weapons, there are a few different ways you can do that. You can use structural parts to kind of prevent them from taking direct damage, but in most cases it will limit the firing angles. And then there's the method of mounting them under your build, which will protect them a lot, but again, you will have limited firing angles. There's also a method of creating a bunker around your weapons, but that will also result in limited firing angles. Now for those of you who don't know, fuel barrels, fuel tanks, generators, ammo boxes, and micro factories are highly explosive. So a good way to hide them at lower power score is like this. Have them in the middle. I know it's like a super duper weak spot, but it worked for me in the very beginning. Or if you want to farm fuel without having the risk of blowing up while driving in fire, have the fuel barrel and the fuel tank in the back at least 8 blocks away, ensuring you won't receive any damage on your main build if it gets shot off. Now that works for fuel barrels and fuel tanks, but for generators that won't really work, because if that gets shot off, your modules that are getting powered by the generator, all your weapons will stop working then. Tip number 3. Okay, now that you have some decent builds, I'm going to answer the second question I get asked a lot, and that is how to level up faster, or which faction should I level up first. Well, with the free packs you got from our links, they give you access to some decor items, which you can then add to your vehicle to get a maximum of 25% extra XP boost. Back in closed beta, there was no limit, so you could go up to like 200 or 300% extra XP boost, but they've nerfed it, so now the maximum is only 25% extra XP boost. And there's different rarities to this, so legendary decor items give you 5%, epic decor items give you 4%, special decor items give you 3%, rare decor items give you 2%, and common decor items give you 1%. You also have an extra XP boost that the game gives you, which you can see if you hover your cursor over the battle button. Another way you can level up faster is to craft one of the faction flags, which will give you an additional XP boost depending on which flag you craft. And this is separate from the decorative item experience boost. So you can have 25% decor item XP boost and faction flag XP boost. And in my opinion, the faction flag isn't really that worth it unless you plan on grinding a lot the next 24 hours. Then yeah, you can go for it. As for which faction to level up first, what I personally did, and I still think is the best way to do it, is level up all the factions to level 4, then all of them to level 8, and then all of them to level 10. By then, you'll have a lot of structural parts to make a proper ride. And then, once you unlock a new faction, do the same thing. You can always go to the faction tab and see what kind of structural parts they'll unlock. For example, for me, light frames were very important. So what I did after level 10, I focused on the lunatic so I can lock all the light frames that I needed. Besides, you guys have it super easy these days. You guys don't need to wait 24 hours before switching factions. So what you can do as a very fresh player, just select all the factions once and you get a ton of structural parts from the get-go. Tip number 4 is probably one of the most important tips for new players, and that is that there are different types of weapon systems in the game and different types of modules that enhance their performance. You have heating-based weapons like automatic shotguns, machine guns, and miniguns, and if you want to increase their effectiveness, you want to use coolers or radiators. Then you have reload-based weapons, which right now only benefit from reload modules like the KA-1 Discharger and the KA-2 Flywheel. There's also a ton of cabins that boost their reload, like the Deadman cabin, the Echo cabin, the Omnibox cabin, and the Hadron cabin. And then you have drones, which right now can only benefit from one module, which is the Cheetah engine. It decreases the reload time by 15%, but if you want to enhance the effectiveness of the Cheetah engine, you want to use Bigfoot wheels, which technically decreases the reload time by 30% instead of 15%. Another important thing, unlike Crossout Mobile, not all machine guns need ammo boxes. It's usually projectile-based weapons that need ammo boxes and drones, but for drones, you don't want to use ammo boxes, you need micro factories here. Alright, here are some bonus tips that might be helpful for old players and new players. In combat, always try to shoot off the enemy's guns first. Unless the player's cabin is already on fire, in that case, just shoot the cabin to finish him off and send him back to the garage. There are certain builds you will come across where the cabin and the weapons are very well protected. In that case, just go for the wheels to slow them down or disable them. You also might want to make your minimap a bit larger and use small icons. That way you have a better idea where everybody is on the minimap. Unless you're point blank range with the enemy, try to always stab fire your hit scan weapons. That way your gun stays more accurate, which makes shooting off parts much easier. The normal names you see on the scoreboard are computer players, so sometimes you can take advantage of that in certain situations. A tip for the market, never quick buy. You'll always spend more if you do that. So instead, just go to trade, put down a low offer, and wait for the purchase. It might take a while, but you'll get it eventually. And if you want to farm fuel, you can do that with one fuel tank and one fuel barrel, which gives you a maximum of 15 fuel per match. It does not stack, so having 2 fuel barrels or 2 fuel tanks won't benefit you. It'll only make you more explosive. Okay, I think these tips are going to be super helpful for new players to start off their crossout journey. I also have another tutorial/guide video on how to optimize your grind, but that is for players who have been playing the game for a little bit already. But I'll leave a link in the description down below in case you want to see it anyways. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this video was informative for you. Hope you guys learned something. If there's anything I missed, please leave it in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Peace out.